So, I don't know if you know this, but in this world, there exist good movies and bad movies. Some are bad movies with some good in them, and others are good movies with bad things in them. This is a pretty bad movie.
This is the first Uwe Boll movie I've seen. For the uninitiated, this is this German guy who made a bunch of video game adaptations, none of which were good. He knows it, we know it. They still somehow turn out to be financially successful enough that he keeps getting to do them because of like loopholes and low budgets.
First of all, the title of this movie is kind of a misnomer. It's rarely terribly dark, and there really isn't all that much aloneness happening. Tell them what the budget on this movie was.
The budget on this movie, and if you watch this in conjunction with our next movie review, you'll know why this is such a big deal. But the budget on this movie was $20 million US. Most of which apparently went to the CGI department, which is a shame because that was not money well spent.
This movie was bad.
Screaming toothy thing here. It's kind of a cool design, and on the back you got the character design of the creature design of the monster here, which is like this spiky tailed thing. And when I picked this up for $2, I was like, it looks like at least the effects could be good. No.
It's not dark, but they like to make the lights flicker a lot. Because that's spooky, right? It's...
Ooh, ooh, yeah! Spooky! It just pretty much... It feels like a less than average made-for-TV movie, assuming that there was an original source, like some guy was just paid like $100 to make this up, and it still turned out like not great, but like Sci-Fi Channel had a slow Friday or something, and this is what happened.
It's also not even that true to the source material, because there's a fair amount of gunplay. This is Alone in the Dark if Alone in the Dark were a third-person military shooter, maybe, like a really bad one.
I mean, I'm not a huge Alone in the Dark fan that I can make like a huge comparison of everything they did wrong in terms of adapting. I did play the most recent Alone in the Dark, and all I can say is even though the game was mostly mediocre, it was still much better than this.
The acting was terrible, the writing was terrible, the lighting was terrible, because there was lighting.
No one's interested in this film. Like, we weren't interested in this film. The characters, as they're shooting guns, are just like... Like, that's them in the action sequences.
Plot holes, contrived sequences. It's like the movie couldn't figure out how its antagonists were supposed to be killed, so they just made them die from random gunshot wounds.
I am in the process of taking legal action in regards to this movie towards Fangoria magazine, who provided the following quote: "Rousing fight scenes and non-stop action. Neither of those are true."
I think my favorite scene was
Slater tries to shoot him a whole bunch and nothing happens, and then they get on a conveyor belt for a outdoors ice factory. How is that ice not melting?
and knocked on his back, and then the bad guy's looming over him, and then he does like a guile flash kick into the air.
And then Slater's just like, "Get off me!"
To knock him onto some spike, like a pike that's just sticking out of a box.
Which kills him when multiple gunshots.
Yeah, it kills him in one go with multiple gunshot wounds. Did not. Christian Slater narrates something. Tara Reid plays science in this movie. Christian Slater and her have sex, they go into a cave, and then they appear outside of an orphanage and the movie's over.
This was not a good movie. This was a bad movie. We reviewed it so that you don't have to watch it.
Get it to... Uh-oh! Monsters!